So in question number 12, we're told that there's a local plumbing company that makes house calls, and it charges $30 to come out to the house and $40 per hour for services. They also give an example of what a 4-hour service call would cost. Notice that they do $30 plus $40 times the 4 hours for a total of $190. Now it says that this table shows a summary for the past month and that we need to fill it in to find out the cost of services. So when I do the first one, I'm just going to write the example calculations out off to the side here. So I know that there's always going to be $30 that gets charged, plus the 4.5 hours for the service times 40, because there's $40. So when we calculate what that would be in terms of pricing, the $30 plus 4 times 40, we get that that's $210 for the entire service call. So that means that I can put 210 right here, and that is in dollars. Now, if I do that for each of these rows, then I'm going to get an overall description for each of these numbers. So I'm going to pause the video and do that, and then come back and actually interpret these. So I just finished doing all of the calculations here on this, and I'm going to zoom back out and see what they want me to do with this. So this past month, the time the plumber spent on one service call corresponds to a z-score of 1.5. What was the z-score for the cost of that service call? Okay, so dissecting this, it says the time for the plumber spent on one service call corresponds to a z-score of 1.5. Okay, so that tells me that the z-score for, it says time, is positive 1.5. They want to know what's the z-score for the cost. Okay, well that means I need to turn this time z-score into a cost. Well, let's see. The time at 1.5, well, I know a z-score means that I can start at the average and then add whatever the z-score is times the standard deviation, because the z-score is counting how many standard deviations you are away from the average. So the average time was 4.5, and then I can see that I add to that 1.5 is the z-score times the standard deviation. Okay, standard deviation was 1.2. So typing this out, I get 4.5 plus 1.5 times 1.2, and I get 6.3. So this right here, this 6.3 is a time calculation. Well, what they want is the z-score of the cost. So I need to convert this into a cost. So to do the cost, it would be 30 plus my $40 per hour. So 30 plus 40 times 6.3, and I get $282. So the cost is $282. Now, this cost needs to get converted into a z-score. Well, notice all of these red numbers right here are going to help me with that, because to get a z-score, we say that z is equal to our data minus the average all over the standard deviation. So in this case, my cost that I want to know is 282. The average cost, so I come up here and I say the average cost is $210. And the standard deviation of cost is 78. So now I just figure out what these calculations are. So 282 minus 210, hit equal on my calculator, and then divide that by 78. I get a z-score of about 0.92.